Hello and welcome to today's podcast. I'm Ben Stockwell and I'm fortunate to be joined by Conner Wagstaff, a member of the Southern New Hampshire baseball team today. Conner, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Ben?
I'm doing well. It's been a interesting start to the new year for sure. For you, how have things been and how are you doing?
It's definitely been an interesting start to the year. The first of this year, I ended up having my appendix out.
Yeah.
So that was a nice little start to 2021, but it's been different. We start classes next week, and I'm actually looking forward to starting classes because I'm not really enjoying the downtime too much. I feel like we have too much downtime already with classes being remote. So yeah.
So kind of with that, Southern New Hampshire is one of the schools that decided to go completely remote for the fall. And I mean, obviously they have a great infrastructure for it with, kind of the nationally renowned, online education they offer. So what was that semester like for you, for someone, obviously you started your education in person and now last semester having to go on that online education?
Very different. Obviously something that I've never experienced before. Like I said, it creates a lot of downtime where you don't really know what to do after a while. You can find ways to occupy yourself for the first little bit, stuff that you wouldn't normally get to do being home. SNHU's been very good about the educational side of it because their program is already so good. But I really hope that we get to get back and do some face-to-face stuff, which I'm sure everybody else is hoping to.
Yeah, makes sense for sure. And for you, those who might not know, where are you originally from? In New England here.
I'm from Ellsworth, Maine. It's a kind of a little town. It's the hub in Maine, between Bar Harbor and Bangor. We don't get a lot of recognition because we're right between those bigger, well-known places. But it's a beautiful place here. There's a lot of woods around. So if you're into that kind of thing, then it's a good place to be.
Yeah. So, being that far north, what was your recruiting experience like?
It was actually incredible. I had a couple offers from a couple different schools, Franklin Pierce, the rival, being one of them. And I just went on a couple tours. I played for Maine Lightning and Coach Ryan Kopp there. He's incredible. He's the whole reason that I even got to go to Southern New Hampshire in the beginning. I went to a tournament in New Hampshire, I think it was. And after the game, I was walking out of the facility. I think it was the New England baseball complex that I was in. And I was supposed to go to Franklin Pierce to do a visit there and do a tour and meet Coach Chambers. And I actually bumped into Coach LeBaron walking out. And he said something to me, and Coach Austin was right behind him and said something to me after that. And I took off and went to go on the tour to Franklin Pierce. Coach Chambers was awesome. The facility there is incredible. And on my way to Franklin Pierce, Coach LeBaron called me and he said, love to get you down for a tour. We love what we saw and then stuff like that. And I set up a tour with them. And then I went to Southern New Hampshire and Levo gave me a tour of everywhere. As soon as I stepped on the campus, I fell in love. It was just the perfect fit for me. But I was at another tournament and I was in the hotel room with my mom and my girlfriend, and Coach Loazo called me and talked to me, and he said what they were gonna offer me, and it was even better than I could have hoped for. And I talked to my mom, my girlfriend about that, and it was literally just like that. Like I just decided right there that that's where I was going to go. And then 5 minutes later, I called Coach back up and I said I'd love to do this. And from then on, I was a penman, and I have not regretted it 1 second since. It's been incredible.
Nice. What's your current major, and kind of what ideas do you have about what you want to do with that?
So my current major is English language and literature with a focus on secondary ed and STEM education. I'm hoping to get my master's. What the program is set up for is for me to get my master's by the summer of 2022. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm focused on right now. I hope that I can ride it out and be able to get as much education as I can, because I always like to learn, and I think that continuing education is the best thing for me, at least.
And what's your goal with that type of really education focused major and English? What do you want to do with that ultimately when you're done with school, and even if it's between a master's degree and a doctorate? What are your goals with that?
So I actually came into SNU with as a criminal justice major, but I realized my true passion was teaching. I decided to change my major to English education, and my focus for that is I hope to come back here to Ellsworth and teach English, because some of the best teachers that I've had were English teachers, and I would love to work alongside them. I also hope to coach our Ellsworth high school team.
Mhm. For you, have you had any favorite classes so far during your SNU education?
My fiction writing workshop that I had last semester was definitely my favorite class that I've ever had.
Kind of going off that, is that something you would consider, one of your hobbies and passions outside of, baseball and, strictly, I guess, academics?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always thinking about what actually it was like midnight last night. I was watching a movie and then just got an idea to write another story. So I should have been falling asleep, but I just wrote down the idea for the story. So that's definitely a bigger passion for me is writing, because I think reading books is kind of becoming a lost hobby, lost passion. So I definitely like to get into that some more.
And kind of going still in the school side of things, but a big part of the Northeast 10 and SNU has really shown this as well is community service and community activism. What have been your experiences with community service, whether at SNU or in your hometown?
So with SNU, I did a couple things that Coach John Friday set up, and this past fall and into the winter, I did Be the Change in Ellsworth, which was kind of like a donation campaign that I did, that I set up pretty much in 2 hours. One day when I was working, I heard on the radio people were saying that this is going to be the hardest year for people, where they may end up choosing between feeding their families or heating their homes. And I mean, me being home, not really doing much, that kind of just didn't really sit right with me, and especially if I could do something about it. So I set that up, and I got a couple places who agreed that they definitely want to take the donations. And I sat outside our YMCA every Saturday morning from 8 to 12, accepting donations. We took clothing donations and food donations, as well as monetary donations. And we ended up raising about $1,300 between the weeks from October 27th to December 5th. Sorry, dude, little puppy. And so we ended up taking, I don't even know the number, but we took a ton of clothing donations. Mm-hmm. And as well as food donations. We packed cars each week. If you look on Facebook, and it's called Be the Change in Ellsworth, you can see I posted a picture of each week that we did, and it just got better and better each week, and it was huge, and people responded here, and it was incredible to see that people wanted to help those in need. I think we're gonna end up doing it again in the spring, and a woman and her son actually who helped me. They may take the reins if I end up going back to SNU, so I may just give it over to them, and they're incredible. They did awesome. That was my most recent experience with community service, and it was an incredible experience. I got to meet a lot of new people who wanted to help, and it was awesome.
Nice. Moving over to the baseball side of things, what was it like for you guys? SNU traditionally is able to play a lot of games early on, whether it's late February, early March. So you guys really had some games under your belt before the season was canceled. What was that experience like to start your season, the way it did, playing some tough opponents, but then also having it, kind of cut short?
It was amazing. Actually, I'm very lucky and very happy that I got the 16 games of experience in that I did. Especially when we went to Colorado, that was awesome. We got our butts handed to us in the first couple games there because we were still kind of trying to hit our stride. I went in my first time there, or my first inning, I guess, going in. I got knocked around a little bit, and that was definitely a wake up call. But we were able to bounce back as a team going into the next few series, and it was awesome to kind of see, like, you could see each game how we were getting closer and closer to that goal that we wanted to be. And unfortunately got cut short, and I thought we had a shot at doing something really special. Not to say that we won't if we go back this spring. We got almost the exact same team this year, and that much more drive behind us to get back on the field. So that was awesome. So the fall definitely gave me a chance to settle in a little bit. Not so much because I got knocked around in the spring, but it was kind of that relief where you just kind of let everything go. You walk in as a freshman and you're pretty stiff. You don't want to mess up, which makes you mess up sometimes. Mm-hmm. So the fall kind of gives you a chance to let that go and settle in. And that, as a pitcher, that definitely helps. It's like the first couple innings of a game where you just find your stride and you settle right into the game.
Nice. And, kind of with that, related to that, this past fall, you didn't have that. You were, remote learning. How were you able to keep up your training during this pandemic through the summer and the fall when you weren't at school?
They gave us programs to kind of stick by. I got to play a little bit of baseball this past summer. It was actually my last year of Legion to get to play. And that was kind of the summer. I stuck to our program from then all the way up until now, I guess. And I've been doing CrossFit workouts as well with my girlfriend, her parents. So I've kind of been doing both things, trying to stay as in shape as I can. My dad and I throw a lot. He may be on his last few years catching for me. He does a very good job. He's just getting old. He does a very good job, and he's always caught for me. He's coached me all the way up through. And so trying to stick with my program when it gets snowy out is difficult, but I have a couple places where I go to throw a little bit, and just trying to stay as loose as I can.
And for you also, what would you say has been the best moment of your baseball career? I'd say through high school and college so far.
We won our state championship, our first state championship since '88, back in 2019. We got to the semifinals my sophomore year, and you could see something brewing. And then junior year, we made it to the conference championship, and we lost that. And then the next year, we kind of came back with more of a drive, and saying our seniors said how we didn't want to go out like that again. So we went on and we won a state championship, and that was the best feeling ever, because it hits you, and then it really hits you that it happened. That has been the highlight of my baseball career, aside from the first time that I walked onto the SNU field for practice. That was definitely a different feeling too.
Nice. Some quick hitters here now. Do you have any pregame rituals or superstitions?
Well, you're talking to a pitcher right now, so of course I have to put my socks on the exact same way before a game, whether I'm pitching or not. When I get on the mound, I have to do a couple digs with my foot, and I have to do this kind of stretch before I do my warm-ups at all. My routine has to be the exact same, no matter what it is. If I'm gonna pitch that day, if I'm gonna start a day, my routine has to be the exact same that it ever is. I have to have the same playlist. I start in the same song and playlist, but it shuffles around. So yeah, those are just a few of my superstitions as a pitcher that I kind of have to do. It's weird, but we're kind of a different breed pitchers. We have too many superstitions.
Yeah. Kind of going with that pitching thing. Also, at SNHU, who is the best hitting pitcher on the team? I know this might be controversial, but I don't know the answer. But I'm just saying, I know, some pitchers like to, say they can hit the ball. So I'm curious, who would you say is the best hitter? And it could be you. I don't know.
Ooh, I haven't got a chance to step in the batting cage, and rightfully so. I didn't hit until my senior year in high school. So, I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but I might have to say Alex Gomes. He's got a really good swing. I'm definitely gonna get in trouble for this, but my answer would definitely be Gomesy.
Is there one professional athlete you look up to or admire, either for their athletic skills or other things they're doing?
I really admired Kobe Bryant. I really admired him while he was around. He had that killer mentality where he took no prisoners, and he did everything that he could to win, and in the most professional way possible. I love Tom Brady's routine, the way that he does things. I have his TB12 book where he discusses his routine and stuff like that, and I like that a lot. But Greg Maddux was definitely my baseball guy. He is another guy who took no prisoners. He didn't care. He's awesome. He was my biggest inspiration right now. He didn't have to throw 100 miles an hour, but he was the king of command. So I idolized him.
Makes sense. Yeah, he was definitely the king of command. Do you have any guilty pleasure TV shows or movies you've kind of gotten into in the last year?
Well, I have recently gotten into Orange is the New Black with my girlfriend. She kind of got me hooked on that. TV shows that I personally watch, I don't know. I like The Walking Dead. I watch that a lot, but I also like to watch any sports shows that they have on, like the football show, the All-American show. That's a good one. So kind of all over the place. For you, what's a book in 2020 that you read and really enjoyed, or you found kind of impactful? I would have to say I kind of reread Hatchet, which is a book by Gary Paulson. Mm-hmm. That's an incredible book. I read that when I think I was in fourth grade. I had to reread it again because I loved it so much. But that's just like pure survival, and that's the kind of stuff that draws me in. I also read a lot of the Sherlock Holmes stories by Arthur Conan Doyle. Those were kind of big inspirations for me writing for my book that I talked to my professor about. I liked those a lot. Those were a lot of fun to read. And finally, what do you hope to accomplish in 2021, or what's something you hope to accomplish in 2021? Well, getting back on campus would be nice, but that's not a personal accomplishment for me. Something that I would like to accomplish would be to get my first final draft of my book out there, to get to some people to read, and then just to make sure that this year is the best that it can possibly be after the year that we've had. And I'm sure a lot of people have the same goal. Yep. Yeah, for sure. Well, Conner, that's really all the questions I have today. So I want to thank you for joining me, and hope you have a great start to your semester here. And hopefully we'll see you on campus in this spring. Thank you very much for having me.